66. I used to do the stream highlight before I stepped down today. And that's really it. If you've seen me in game, kick my butt. I'm Free Waterfall the Third.
And my name is Lashiv. I'm the former Hearthstone team manager for Luminosity Gaming, and I recently came into South Park Bone Destroyer about 3 weeks ago today, all because my computer took a crap on itself, and my boy Doggo here just kept saying, "Oh man, you gotta try this game, it's gonna be a lot of fun." So all I had was my phone and my Wi-Fi router, and well, I kind of played it and fell in love with it, but realized there's a lot of things that this game can definitely use some tweaks on to be a much better game.
Oh yeah.
Well, the game is young and it is learning and still growing, so fingers crossed, hoping for the best here.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so for those who might be new to the community as a whole or watching this at some future time event, we're going to be first kicking off things talking about the BFU, adequately called the Big Feature Update, but more so realistically called the Bug Feature Update that Red Links that Red Links had put out. It was a long time coming. A lot of people were really stoked for it as a whole, but a lot of people were sadly also very let down by it. So we're going to be looking at that for a bit. So I'm going to pull that up on the screen and then we can kind of go through some of the stuff that we have there. Alright, so for those watching on the screen, basically the Big Feature Update, it began as a phased rollout for Android and iOS devices. It was supposed to bring a lot of stuff, including improved anti-cheating, legendary leaderboards, the new phone destroyer bar system that's currently in the game, team events, daily deals, matchmaking improvements, support for payment outside of the game, no hat, no pants, quality of life improvement for your characters. Hey, we got a subscription on Twitch. Oh snap! Let's go. That's good. That's good stuff. I legit need to double check my audio just to ensure that my audio is going through the right stuff. I don't know if any of you guys are checking on stream, but hopefully everyone can hear everything going through. Fingers crossed. So like I was saying, improved quality of life for no hat, no pants, so people can have naked characters or characters without hats on now. Improved behind the scenes functionality and performance. The donated amount visible in your team leaderboard, and players can now once more see their total donated card stats. That was a mouthful. The main things everyone got out of this update were team events, good stuff. Anti-cheat was already a thing because Troll's Bane was in the game as is. Legendary leaderboards, people were stoked about that. The phone destroyer system with the 5 broken phones earning you a PvP pack, and matchmaking improvements. Those were the main things that people got from the BFU. The BFU, however, brought a lot of bugs, which I'll now allow all you guys to talk about. So have at it.
Yeah, the bugs were fast and ferocious. The fast being the hyperdrive. That bug was absolutely ridiculous. It came out of the blue, and it cost a lot of people some ranks, and it was right there near the end of the legendary season, and it was pretty fucking bogus. I was petitioning for them to extend the legendary season by a week, and their response to that on their live stream was, well, people would have been upset if we extended them. And I was just like, who would have been upset if you guys had extended it out 1 week? I don't know. Maybe there are people that would have been upset about that, but I think the majority would have been very happy to have seen an extra week for the legendary season. And then you've got still all the bugs that are running around with the war cries going off early. Those are still there.
True.
Yeah, I mean, the Warcry one has been actually kind of messed up. Sometimes you'll get like, I've seen some of the Warcries like double cast. Other times it'll cast and not actually activate. And then of course there's Hook and Clyde issue, which Hook and Clyde's been an issue since like day one. But
well, they actually had Hook and Clyde fixed for a while, and then with the bug feature update, they broke them again.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started playing the game, I got Hook and Clyde like right away. It was actually pretty good. Like, if there were 4 minions on the board, and it was actually like 20%, almost equally. Yeah. Then it got broken, and then it was like 75% of the time always going to hit the new kid. And if he actually clutched, you felt like it was the greatest thing in the world. Then it was working again. I was really happy about it, and then it got broken again. And I was like, why? I can't tell you how many games I've lost because Hook and Clyde does not clutch anymore. I mean, he is almost. I almost want to take him out of my deck. I really do.
Yeah, that's the double-edged. That's the double-edged sword called Hook and Clyde.
Yeah, and it's not just him either. I mean, you've got oh god, one of the stands is having issues.
Program stand. He's got the permafreeze going on.
Yeah, permafreeze. That's going on. And actually, that program stand permafreeze can cause a glitch with Manbear Pig that's actually hilarious, where Manbear Pig basically becomes useless for the rest of the game and will not move. I did that on stream earlier today.
Damn. Nice.
I laughed so hard about it. I was like, did I seriously just glitch? Oh, I got to do this again. And then I repeated it like an hour later.
Oh, crazy.
You just have to know exactly when to hit it when Manbear Pig's in a certain move of the animation. You can lock him in place. It's hilarious.
That's ridiculous. So we can basically all agree for the most part that, yeah, it's a bug feature update. The community is not happy. And technically, this new update was supposed to bring much joy and fixings to the game as a whole.
Well, I mean, there's a general rule in gaming, anytime they go and try to patch something to make something better, they're probably going to break 5 or 6 other things in the process. So this is where hotfixes come in. You have your big update, and then you have your hotfixes that basically iron out the wrinkles, and then it moves forward. So, yeah, we've got the big stuff now. Now they just got to make it all work properly and not be as clunky and janky as it is now.
True. I think that's one of the reasons why they did a phased rollout of it, in the hopes that would have helped circumvent a lot of the problems that they kind of ran into. James, did you get the early access to? Okay.
I don't think he can hear you.
Yeah.
I think he muted it all. He's talking, but we don't hear him.
Yeah, I can't hear. I think James muted himself.
Rip.
He'll be back.
But
no, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes,
good.
We got you, Jay.
Are you on Sprint?
All right, so if Discord doesn't mess up on me this time, it's been crashing and nonsense. The title, I want to say, says Team Event Grinding on the YouTube. Don't know if that's intentional.
Refresh, it should change.
Okay. But the BFU was definitely... It was a buggy mess, and the hotfix, it didn't fix everything that it said it was going to fix, and that has been a recurring theme for the past several weeks. They say, hey, all these bug fixes are going to come with the BFU, and then that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. We're going to release a hotfix that's going to fix all these things. Only 2 things are fixed, and honestly, it's being tedious at this point. That's all I got to say.
True that.
No, I totally agree with you. But I can say that several of us actually put together videos of the bugs to send to Red Links, and they got all that stuff today. So hopefully that'll have some kind of impact. I mean, I don't know why they can't replicate those bugs themselves. And actually, believe it or not, I tried to replicate the Warcry bug with Hook and Clyde and Rogue Token and all that this morning. Couldn't get it to happen. And then, of course, on stream later tonight, Rogue Token goes ahead and pops off with the Warcry bug. And it's like, you son of a bitch. But I got a bunch of other bugs that I sent to him.
It's an intermittent one, which means it's a floating memory issue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. So according to the Ubisoft forums post that I had, they said we fixed a bug where units would randomly stop moving and attacking. I think we all... I think we've all experienced that that's not the case. They said they fixed a bug where Princess Kenny's death wish was not being purified by Purify. I don't know who's gonna test that because I don't run Purify.
A lot of people are actually still running Purify though. That's the funny thing.
Somebody asked me if Robo Bebe's ability is purifiable. I think that's a good question. I don't know.
I don't think that it would be. I think static stuff like that can't be purified. Similar to kind of like what's its name, Ninju. I think when Ninju gives you the plus attack, you can't purify it because it's permanent.
Can actually.
You can?
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah, Ninja can get purified.
Okay. All right. The more
Either way, when I see Robo Baby, I'm still throwing Cyborg Kenny at her just so I can get the bonus and steal it.
Nice.
It's like, okay, yeah, you get the speed, but I take you, and now I get the advantage. So have a nice day.
True.
That's a good play, man. Cyborg Kenny is underrated.
Yeah, and everybody's like, oh, he's only good in the early part. Later on, he's horrible. Look, yeah. When you're seeing nothing but Man Bear Pig, no, he's not. But at that point, I should really be playing with combustion. So
nobody plays that card at high level really anymore.
It's so good though.
So back to what you were saying before, Shiv, when you said you have a big update and then you roll out a hot fix later to kind of clean up whatever things fall by the wayside, so to speak. Red Links also did in similar fashion. They released a hotfix recently, which is the next thing that we're going to be kind of talking about, which is the latest update in the game. They basically introduced the report player feature and fixed a couple of the bugs that we were talking about earlier. Well, claim to fix a couple of the bugs that we were talking about earlier. The report player feature that's currently implemented in the game is a very interesting report player feature. It can be found under settings, and then at the bottom of the phone screen you see a button that says report player, and then it gives you a basic recent PvP list. I just logged in, so I haven't fought anyone, so there's nobody on my list. But
oh yeah, there will be.
The report
no, it's not. Because earlier today when I went, because I had to log off to go do something, I went to go in to check the time on it, and I was like, yeah, when is this going to be up? And then it still showed the people from the last game I played.
Okay.
So that's weird.
Well, the main thing about the report player feature is the wide array of reasons that are currently stated in the categories that you can report people for. So you have AFK, bad conduct or griefing, win trading or giving up matches, suspicious matches, inappropriate username, inappropriate team name, or a poor network connection.
No. Are you kidding me? The inappropriate team name, that's like every team.
That's what I wanted to get into. So for you guys now, we're gonna go through each of these, and I want to get you guys' opinion on your thoughts in regards to having these things as categories. So first up, we have going AFK. I'll start off with average guy. Going AFK. How do you think?
What does that even mean? Wouldn't that be the same thing as giving up matches?
Yeah, that's like a free win.
I don't understand.
Why would you ever report somebody for feeding you?
Considering there's no keyboard, considering I'm on my phone, but you know,
touchscreen phone, no actual keyboard needed.
Unless you're on a Nox player like some of us, you know.
True that. There are folks on Nox and BlueStacks and whatnot.
BlueStack, yeah, and Mimu and. So I mean that one kind of seems a little silly, to be perfectly honest. Like, yeah. I don't know.
Well, if you already have the win trading or giving up, then the AFK is just kind of redundant.
Yeah, it makes no real sense.
No,
that's what I'm wondering. Cause it's like more or less the same thing. Because if you're going AFK and you're not there playing, you're basically win trading anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
all right.
pretty much.
So we're all in agreement that that's kind of lame for the most part. Next thing is bad conduct or griefing. Shiv, you play Overwatch, so you should already know what griefing is. So you can explain to the people about bad conduct and griefing.
Okay, so bad conduct in most games is doing something, like specifically in team-based games, that handicaps and or kind of really pisses off your team. It's like exploiting certain glitches, i.e. like what I've discovered you can do with Man Bear Pig and Program Stan. That would technically fall under the whole like glitching and griefing and sort of deal here. In this game, however, I guess that would be applicable to some degree, though I think most people are going to select this just for the guy who hits the fart emote like 20 times at the end of a fucking match.
Yeah.
But then that also brings the question, then why would you put emotes in the game but then punish people for abusing said emotes? I mean, it is only an emote that
why did Twitch put emotes on their thing and then later try to say that using the that one emote was supposedly racist?
But you see, in a world of PC correctness, there's a big difference between a fart emoji and a clearly used emoticon dictating either Middle Eastern someone blowing up something or a black person that's on the stream and you put a black person emoji. There's a big difference there. I'm just saying.
I know I'm being facetious, but you get the point. Like, you know, how do you really like punish somebody like for emoting? It just seems like the most infantile thing in the world, especially when it's a part of the game. So this again, I mean, outside of glitching, which is what it should actually say, exploit/glitching, you know, but griefing, this just feels like they took a list off of like another Ubisoft game and then threw it on there.
Probably. I think that's probably 100% accurate.
Alright, so we kind of touched on this before with the AFK. Win trading or giving up matches. James, I'll let you take this one.
Like, AFK is already there. Why even have this as an option? And win trading, like, I guess that can apply to, like, hey, you're in my team or in a side team of my team. I'm going to give you a win because I'm a nice guy. Is the guy just going to go, how dare you do that to me? I'm a monster.
Thank you for the 3 blocker picks, you bitch.
Basically. So we're in agreement that... Alright, so the thing that I want to bring up with this is, one, first and foremost, before we go any further, I don't recall Red Links putting out anything official in regards to the categories that are currently under the report player feature dictating that people will be punished or to the extent of which these categories apply. I just want to go on record to say that Red Links needs to get on that because they're already going to be in a lot of trouble having to sift through all the false reports. So they may want to be very clear about the different categories and what they apply to. Secondly,
I feel terrible for whoever's got to screen those reports.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh god, yeah.
Secondly,
especially any of the ones I wrote comments on.
Secondly, as far as win trading / giving up matches, we all know about D-ranking. We all know that it is an ever-present thing in the game, and until D-ranking as a whole is addressed in a way that people don't feel incentivized to D-rank, it will continue to be a thing. And I don't think, once again, that Red Links has gone on record to state anything in regards to D-ranking that they're going to punish people for it. So I'm not sure why this is in the report player section as a report category.
Should just say working as intended.
So that's how I feel about that. Here I feel is the most important category, which is the one that people
only category.
This is the whole reason people requested the report player feature is suspicious match. Energy hackers, cheating, energy manipulation, call it whatever you will. Average guy, we're gonna go back to you. You can take this one.
Yeah, I mean, and that is gonna be the one that needs to be looked at closest because I think that'll be the one that is used the most. And I think that is the one that has the most value as far as looking for people. But honestly, I think that stuff is blown a little bit out of proportion. You do see people, but maybe I could be completely wrong. I don't know. There could be a ton of people out there subtly abusing this energy hack.
They are.
It's just, you know, I've never wasted the time to sit there and try and count because I'm never really too concerned when I take a loss. Rank has never been a huge thing for me, but you know, that is the best thing on the whole report list. That's what this whole thing is for.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Trollbane got rid of everybody who was using, well, not everybody, but most of the people who were using like the blatant unlimited one that were basically just throwing out like 6 cards at the opening of the thing to where there was nothing you could do. It got rid of a bunch of those, but the problem that's in the game right now that is actually kind of in its own way pernicious is the one where it's accelerating the the energy gain from like 1.5x of the normal to 3 to 5x, and they're all public. Like anybody can go get these modded ones, and it's like relatively simple to do. I'm not going to do it, but I know it's simple to do because I've talked to people who are doing it, and that just like opens up a whole can of worms. Like if you always have the energy available to where you can always play down like the big minions to counter whatever they're doing, like they wipe out your board, well, you can automatically refill it out with 10 plus energy's worth of minions. Then you kind of get yourself in a situation where there's no way in hell that it's ever going to be a fair game. And they're being really slick about it. Like they're only like holding on to doing it till like the mid and late game. That way they can always say, like, oh, I wasn't hacking, I had the energy boost, to make it a little bit more subtle. But you can tell when it's happening. It's like, here comes Man Bear Pig, here comes Mephiston, and here comes Nathan all at the same time. Well, simple math tells me that's 15 freaking points. I don't think so. No. And I've had that happen. And, and it was happening before I had a report, and it's happening even now with the report feature out. So it's still there. It's still happening. But the only way they're ever really going to get down on this and crack is if they're actually taking the report seriously. And I don't know if they are going to do it. Maybe the report feature's there just to placate people so they'll stop yelling at them on Twitter, like me. But it is something. And I can tell you right now, I've introduced like 5 different people to this game, and they all loved it for the first 2 days. And then they came across an energy hacker that was like, this is some bullshit.
All right.
And that was the exact words out of their mouth. This is some bullshit.
For me, I've been playing since global launch. I've come across my fair share of the energy hackers back in the day. Before Trollsbane, we all know that shit was running wild. People were just throwing out that stuff. It was cray-cray. The devs heard the pleas of the people. They implemented this Trollsbane thing. The people were not pleased at first because people still came up across energy hackers. But over time, we learned how Trollsbane worked. We saw the decrease overall in blatant energy hackers. And then, like Shiv was mentioning, it became more of a thing where people were now, obviously as with most games, people like, when one countermeasure comes up, the hackers get smarter and they implement a different countermeasure. So now we have subtle energy hackers that have like increased energy gaining rate, but it's not blatant. As far as that's concerned, once again, the devs are doing what they can and they've listened. So they decided to take aspects of the game over to server side, which wasn't a thing in the implementation of the game to begin with. I always said that Red Links was pretty smart from the get-go, making the game peer-to-peer, because they don't have to take any blame when it comes on to connection issues or anything hacking related, because there's no server base.
But they're also taking cash for items in game, which requires to have a little bit of some sort of security by Google and Apple's own standards.
This is true, which is why it's a step in the right direction now that they've listened. It's something that I keep trying to put back into the community, that even though you don't get it right away, the devs do try to listen and they do try to implement things for the overall betterment of the game. It might not get done right fast away the way you want it, but it gets there eventually, because there's a lot of corporate red tape to go through. There's a lot of higher ups that gotta okay stuff and so on. Then
you've got your standard requirements, from like Google and Apple and things of that nature, where it has to meet certain things. Like, I worked in the video game industry before I worked in esports, and trust me, like the amount of hoops you have to jump through, even for putting out like a PlayStation title, is just like mind-boggling. We could actually be done with the project and still have to wait 3 months before we can release.
Exactly. And we saw that with the latest update, when they wanted to push out the feature, but then they were saying
a week and a half later.
Exactly. We gotta wait for Google to okay this. We gotta wait for the iOS store to okay this, and we eventually got it. But that's the thing I keep telling people, like, it's bad sometimes, but it's not bad all the time. So there's always that silver lining that you can look out for. The devs, they're not as bad as a lot of people would have you think. They deserve some calling out from time to time to keep them on their toes, but they're not as bad as people would have you think.
No, I've seen way worse devs who would basically like, why are you crying? Shut the hell up. I'm not even like try having a conversation with a wargaming dev. Jesus Christ. They're all Russian. They're like, you cry like little bitch. Fuck you.
Yeah, there are way worse devs out there. Trust me.
There are.
So we're all in agreement as far as suspicious match is concerned. Inappropriate username and inappropriate team name. I find this very funny because one, this is a South Park game. Everything about South Park is inappropriate as a whole. So I'm not sure how that works. And then two, I also want to just take a second to shout out
Irish,
aka people who annoy you guy, formerly known as Nagger guy, that found himself in a situation in regards to something like this where he had an inappropriate username. He lost his Twitch name, so to speak, and had to start from scratch. James, I think I'll let you handle the inappropriate username and team name.
Well, like you said, this is South Park. Offensive names should be fine depending on how exactly offensive they are. Like, I can understand why Redlands is a little concerned with some of the names. Like, I wouldn't like it if someone came up with, like, a racial slur as a name. Or I know there's some guy with Japanese characters in his name that translate to, if you beat me, I will murder your family. So...
Wow!
I mean...
Salty McSalt Salt.
Wow.
It depends on what Red Lynx thinks is exactly so bad. Like, if I have a curse word in my name, or say, men are cool, like, in this PC age, that's probably not going to go well.
No.
But it just depends on what they qualify as offensive.
So you see, now, I'm going to bring up one of the mainstream clans, Nambla. I've heard that that's an acronym for something.
Yes,
that's not
yes,
exactly PC. So
No.
How does that work? Because
Well,
that's
in
like the
South
top
Park, it's the
rated.
North American Marlon Brando look-alike association. So
Yeah.
that
See?
was the whole play. That was the whole joke on the episode. Was there was the NAMBLA, which is the pedophiles, and then they came to South Park and had a convention. But Dr. Mephisto, he was the head of the South Park chapter of the North American Marlon Brando lookalikes. And he was lobbying everybody like, we're not that NAMBLA, we're not that NAMBLA. And that's kind of the whole joke there.
So see now, if someone is coming into the game and they're not like that in-depth a fan of South Park and they see something like that, where does Red Lynx draw the line if someone like that reports that to them and they're like, okay, well, I use this feature like you said, but are you going to do anything about it?
I think the best solution for them in this is, like, whenever there's a new update for the game, it always does that little warning screen that's very similar to, like, the cartoon itself. I think they need to just edit that slightly. If you're easily offended, go play Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Which, again, is South Park.
Makes perfect sense.
Exactly. You know, it's like, look, if you're easily offended, then obviously a majority of the content that this game is based off of is going to offend you. Thus, this game is most likely going to offend you. You know, I'm waiting for, like, Saddam and Satan to actually come into the game and watch how many people fucking blow up about that shit. Because you know it's going to happen.
That's not
PC, you know what,
bro.
Saddam is going to be a ranged character, and you know what he's going to throw. If you've ever watched, like, the movies and the TV show, you know exactly what Saddam is going to throw, and that is going to cause hella issues in game with any sort of PC-based culture. And when I say PC, I mean politically correct, not master race.
Time will tell. All right, so that leaves one last category on the report per feature. Poor network connection. Average guy, this is all you, fam.
Yeah, that should just be, did you play Average Guy today? That's what it should say. Did you play Average Guy? Go ahead and report. That should be what that says.
I think anyone who's familiar with your stream already knows the average guy struggle when it comes on to poor network connection.
Man, my beautiful, lovely Ukrainian Wi-Fi. I'm just absolutely in love with it. It's my favorite thing ever.
Nice. Move down to Romania and get better.
That had to be for me.
I honestly don't know if this is something that should be reportable, because it's like, just because you have awesome internet doesn't mean that you should give the other person shit because their internet is maybe subpar or whatever. Like, one, I want to make mention of the fact that the devs have made no inclination that they have a problem with people playing through VPN. to me, that would be the primary cause of a poor network connection. Mm-hmm. And if it is that the devs have not made their stand clear as far as if they're for or against VPN players or whatever, then I don't really think you should have a feature for reporting someone because they have shitty Wi-Fi or something.
I mean, I don't see how this would be something people would report. Oh, your opponent had bad connection. Well, your opponent just lost. You got the win, so why are you reporting? Like, when I'm playing somebody and it's obvious like they've dropped connection because they just stopped playing out minions, I'm not going to report him. I feel bad for him. I'm going to take the win, but I still feel bad for him. So this, again, doesn't really make any sense. I mean, it's not like it ends the game right there when it detects that there's no connection, right? You still get the advantage, and you're the person who's most likely going to make the report. It makes no sense why this is even an available option. It really doesn't.
What do you think, James?
I can say that this might be a way to get the Asia VPNers who are going to the North American servers and lagging up the place. And just give them the old bam hammer. I don't have natural hammerhead, just have handle. But that's probably what they're wanting to do, but they extend it to pretty much everyone because, let's face it, rubber banding is still a huge issue. And pretty much you can find anything in this game. Like any match, you could probably report it for poor internet connection due to that.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Alright, so that takes care of the report player feature and the new update that we got. Next thing we're going to be talking about is probably the thing that everybody is super excited to talk about and hear about and embrace, is the whole big YouTuber controversy that's been blowing up all over the Reddit and the Discord in regards to the event that went live today for Robo, Bebe. A lot of people seemingly aren't very happy that some of the content creators in the YouTube community / Twitch community for the game South Park Phone Destroyer got early access to the Robo Bebe card and got enough materials and money to get it up to a level that they could more or less showcase the card in a competitive environment so that the community can have a better idea of how feasible the card may be at higher levels of play or just in PvP or PvE as a whole.
Yeah, when you showed me this, I wanted to punch you in the face.
A lot of people more or less have that gut reaction that they're kind of upset about. We're going to talk about that for a little bit. One of the main centers of controversy around this is here with us, Senor Average Guy himself. So we're gonna let him lead the conversation on this one, so you can take it away.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start out with saying again, I'm totally in support of YouTubers and streamers getting early access to stuff to be able to show that off to the community and really highlight the game. I think that is a fantastic thing. It is something I lobbied very hard for in our group of YouTubers, and our group is not some dystopian everybody praise average guy type of club. It's a group of content creators that are there to support each other. We're not there to suck off red links. We're not there to be doing anything other than helping each other grow and get better at what we do. One of those things is getting support from devs. Support from devs is a fantastic thing, whether you like those devs or not. We're all playing this game because it's fucking fun. Yeah, there's a lot of things that need to get better with this game, and we are working to do that, to help that happen. Them giving us stuff doesn't change our opinions, despite what some people want you to believe. We're not over there sucking Red Link's dick and totally ignoring all the problems with this game. Nobody's changed their opinions on things. Nobody's told they can't voice their opinions. They're just told, hey, you can't be calling people names, you can't be directly insulting people, you can't be targeting people. That's just something in general that I'm totally fine with enforcing on people in life. And just don't be an asshole like that. It's uncalled for. But
very true.
Again,
very true.
Some of the people took my words as saying that we all deserve to get this card as saying other people don't deserve things, which is entirely not my intention. So if I misspoke or made something not clear for you guys, I apologize for that, but I still 100% feel that everybody that got a Robo Bebe deserves to have that to highlight for the community, to show it off, and I think it's a good thing. But that's, again, not saying other people don't deserve rewards or anything for their contributions as well. I'm just saying the folks that got it, they deserve to have gotten it.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight that point specifically because that point has been at the center of a lot of controversy in a lot of the Discord chats and Reddit posts. I feel like potentially because the people kind of took the comment at face value and they don't know the backstory behind how that comment came about is why they might feel, I guess, gypped as far as content creators getting the Robo Bebe. So what people potentially don't know behind the scenes is that for a while now, basically most of the content creators that have been putting out content for the game, whether on Twitch or on YouTube, have been in talks with Steve, Buck, and then by further extension the developers, trying to have consistent feedback and community support and outreach for the game to help the game grow. It was an initiative, a well-done initiative initially by Steve and Buck, that they allowed us content creators to have contests where we would award whether 500 cash, PvP tickets, etc. to different winners on different people's streams. Now, that initiative got put on hold because some content creators decided to voice their opinion a bit too harshly, and then from a company standpoint, the company then had to look at that and be like, this isn't exactly the image that we want to associate or put forth, so let's pull back on the support that we're putting forward and try to reevaluate a better way that we can move forward. Now, the content creators as a whole, this kind of blindsided us because none of us really knew what was happening in the heat of the moment. We only found out as soon as Steve came on and just been like, yo, the plug is pulled, that's it, bada bing bada boom. We are still to this day trying to figure out the source of the problem or how it came about, and we still don't know. So that's some backstory as far as that's concerned. Now, as far as what Average Guy said about deserves, I think he was more alluding to the fact that due to the effort that content creators put forward, trying to put information out clarity-wise and information-wise for the community, I'm saying that when he said deserves, I think he's meaning more deserving of acknowledgement and support from the devs of the game as a whole, not so much that the content creators deserve to be rewarded, but they deserve some sort of acknowledgement by the devs or the community people that work for the company to say that, hey, we see the work you're putting out there, you're helping us to make our community roles a lot easier by putting out this information and assisting, so here's something that'll help you do what you're doing so that we can do what we're doing. And I think that's more what he meant when he said content creators are deserving of this acknowledgement by the devs as a whole. So that's just my 2 cents. Shiv, you are an outsider coming into this game as a whole. You're somewhat more or less an unbiased party, so I want to hear what your insight is.
Yeah, that's the first time that's ever been said about me. Okay, so here's how I look at it. Like I said, I've come from many different communities, many different games, and in each one, they always have what I like to refer to as their billboards, or their players, their streamers, their YouTubers who are actively promoting their game, showing off what you can do, what you can't do. So, like, I'll give you a reference here, like World of Tanks, World of Warships, World of Warplanes. You have an active community of community contributors there, which is what technically you guys would fall under, that get access to these things before everybody else. They're under super tester accounts or under their specific community contributor account, and they can play with it on there to basically see what it can do so they can promote it. So for me, when I saw this, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit jelly because I just opened up, a couple of the packs and didn't get a single Bebe, and I was really annoyed by that. Still haven't, by the way.
You're guaranteed 1 for finishing the event. It's in the developer's notes.
1.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a common. Come on, it's ridiculous.
1. Anywho, moving on. So from that standpoint, I have no problem with that. As per the community getting upset for what you have to say, remember, every single community in any sort of video game industry, whatever, is an entitled group of spoiled brats. Everybody wants more, more, more. And the more free to play something is, the greater their entitlement is for some odd fucking reason. They all think that, no, I deserve this because I've been in. You know, they justify it through every single sort of excuse because they're not getting their acknowledgement. They're not getting their feelings validated. So they lash out. You kind of expect this. This is the post-truth era of like reality that we have to deal with. And the sad reality is that, well, video gamers are entitled little bastards. It's just something you have to shrug off, you know? It's like, people are going to get jelly. It happens.
All right, so I kind of agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, I kind of disagree because I get why people are upset to a certain degree, but I would like to think that people understand the reasoning behind why something of this nature happened. Like, I've spent most of the day going on Discord and Reddit and seeing some of what people have to say. And some of it that I want to highlight is, one, some people are saying, well, they've done more to help the community. They've done guides that are posted on the Discord or the Reddit. They've created websites that showcase the cards and how each level goes up and what boost stats the level modifications get. Like, I've seen these things, but at the same time, not to diminish the value of anything that these people have done, but at the same time, the devs and the community people from Red Links, the content creators that are interacting with them directly are the ones that they would know, that they can highlight. If they don't know of these things or contact hasn't been made between both parties, then you can't expect them to reward those people even if they're not doing it for a reward. The content creators also are the ones that are pointing people to these same sources of information. Case in point, when I first came into the community and I found out about the Reddit and some Excel files that were floating around that had like some legit breakdowns of like the different cards, which ones are good, which ones you should invest in and all of that. Like, I just stumbled upon that because of a content creator whose video pointed me to the Reddit and to that particular section that told me about that. Now, it's fine and dandy for the person that did the hard work to make that Excel sheet and put it on Reddit, so I would never diminish the value of that person. But if it wasn't for that content creator that was working on his stuff, making content for the game, putting the information out about that, then it would have just stayed on the Reddit and I would have never found out about it anyways. So it's like, I don't think it's fair to just say that, oh, well, just because they're making, I guess, YouTube videos and it's super easy, that they shouldn't get their acknowledgement. Like, being a content creator is not just, oh, I stream and I clip this and put it up and that's it. It's like you're building a whole brand behind something. You're building a name behind something. You're building a family, a community that's like supporting you and pushing you to do all these things that help highlight and uplift the game as a whole. And then the more people that you build for that community, it in turns builds the entire community of the game as a whole.
I can kind of agree with you on that, but I'm like, right now I'm reading some of these comments specifically on Average Guy's, like, the response to his video, and some of it just reads complete, wah, we didn't get shit, they're all a bunch of jerks. I'm sorry, it's what it reads, dude. I'm more of an adult than almost every one of you got. Well, age-wise, I'm more of an adult than almost everyone in this discussion. And even I have to go, wow, like, I think I was more mature in kindergarten than some of these little bastards.
Yeah.
Fair enough. James, I see you waving your hand there, James. What you want to say?
Oh, God. It's happening again.
Oh, James, you're muted again.
Okay,
James.
Okay, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Basically, I can agree with the Average Guy. It's nice that they were extending a hand to us and gave us a Robo Bebe, but honestly, I want to see in the future that maybe when friendly battles appear, they just give us one single copy and let us test it out on friendly battles. That way, more people are comfortable with that, and Reddit and Discord isn't up in flames, which is why I have this. And Honestly, I spend my time mostly on the Discord and Reddit. I'm probably there more than you guys are, and it is a shitstorm. I have seen much better attitudes in any Reddit than this one. This one is full of personal attacks, like insulting the developers, insulting the YouTubers. They even made a post about me saying, "Hey, this guy makes cat videos. Fuck him." But like, calm your tits.
Oh my god.
He's not 100% dedicated. Burn him alive.
All right, so you see the point that you made there, James, where you said calling out the devs and like name calling and whatnot. I want to highlight that because this is a very clear-cut case of what we're talking about. So a lot of people tend to say that the people that are in the content creator group, they decry red links. They don't ever speak out against red links in similar fashion to how One Giant Leap might speak out against red links. We don't call them on their bullshit, etc. But that is not true. We just don't do it in
publicly.
A disrespectful way. I'm not gonna say publicly, but we don't do it in a disrespectful way. Like when I was talking about the bug feature update on my video, I had a friggin' thumbnail of police officers cartoon-wise beating Rodney King. And I put red links as the police officers and I put Mystic Class as Rodney King. And I think that's fair enough to call out the devs for what they're doing, but that wasn't me being disrespectful. I didn't have to call him a retard. I didn't have to call him shitbags or anything. I could express my displeasure with them nerfing my class into shit. I could disagree with the nerfs and call it bullshit, but I'm not gonna call the devs themselves or the company bullshit. Like, there's ways to go about stuff. Like, it's okay to be angry. Anger is an emotion, just like happiness, sadness, etc. But as a person, it's how you put across said emotion to convey your point to other people that determines whether or not people take your point seriously in the first place. And if it is that your end game is to have the devs do better and to make better decisions and changes for the longevity of the game, then it makes more sense for you to effectively convey the point that you want to bring across than to just throw a bag of shit on their doorstep, ring the doorbell and run away. I'm just saying.
Do people still do that?
I don't know.
Like, that was old school when I was young. Come on now.
James, you want to say something to finish this off?
Basically, I feel people would also be a little less mad if it wasn't a complete hell to get a single Robo Bebe car. Like, it's a common. Visitors were, like, I can compare them to the visitors. Like, Robo Baby is slightly more common than the visitors. That's about it. I've heard one person
it's
finished
ridiculous.
the entire event and only got one copy.
There should have been at least one copy in every pack. Because one,
Exactly.
it's a common. So when people are getting these, if they're going to want to request them, that's 12 slots for your request. If your other teammates each only have one from the whole fucking event,
There ain't
you're
no
not
way
ever
in
going to be
hell,
able to
yeah.
request it. And it's a fucking common card. Like, come on, bro.
You have to pick one chosen one from your clan to be the proprietor of the Bebe, the Robo Bebe.
Yeah.
Now, if this card becomes part of the standard thing and it's actually going to be available from everything after this event, then
It's going to be after the event, just not right after the event. It's going to be
It'll be like
a
6
month
months
or
after
two.
the event.
Yeah, it's
Mr.
going to be a
Hanky's still
while.
not available.
Exactly,
Okay,
and that was
see,
Christmas.
No. See, therein lies the big problem. Is like distribution, which has been a constant problem in this game. It makes no sense. Yeah, I think they screwed up on the loot table for this.
But you have to think once again that even though red links, like I said before, they don't always do things right away, but they plan for things in the future. Now, if it is that they are guaranteeing that everyone that finishes the event gets a Robo Bebe, and then we know that in a couple of weeks they're going to be pushing the team battle update for the game where we can have friendly battles and stuff, then that suits the purpose, because once you have a copy of the card in your collection, you can use it for team battles, which I feel like is the future sight that they're putting in place, why they made this event. Because bear in mind, this is not a common practice that they've done in the past. where they guarantee the community getting at least one copy of the card for finishing the event. This is relatively new. So I feel like they're kind of putting steps in place, planning for the future of how they're pushing forward for the game, because you can only team battle with cards that you already have in your collection. If you don't have it, then you just can't play it. But if you have at least the one copy, then you're good to go.
I mean, that would make sense if levels didn't matter.
But that's the thing, in team battle, levels don't matter because cards are capped.
But I don't think friendly battles are anywhere close to being a thing yet. I think it's probably still a month or two away is the unfortunate thing. And people, they just dropped Robo Bebe. People want to play with her, man. She's a common. Like, that's our whole point of showing her off, is to get people excited. And what everybody's big fear is that, kind of like Kendra PX and Camp For You pointed out in the chat here on Twitch, is I bet they're going to be dropping some packs for people to buy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But you can't get shit in the event packs. Like, that is a very bogus move, and it's not something that'll be supported by me. Again, I haven't spent a dime on this game in over a month, and I don't recommend people do until there's better value for your cash. The only thing that is worth spending your in-game cash on is PvP refreshes.
Yep.
There are people out there that are doing well and have that disposable income. If they do, good for them. Spend on your hobby if that's your choice. But I don't recommend anyone spend on anything other than PvP refreshes in this game.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that 100%. But for those of you with the disposable income, if you could kindly leave your home address and when you go to work, we'd be most appreciative.
All right, so I guess that more or less covers everything that we had to say about the YouTubers controversy. I just want to end saying shout outs to One Giant Leap. You the homie from way back when. I was on his stream from way back when. The dude seemed hella cool. He calls out the devs on their bullshit a lot, not in the most friendliest of ways, but he's not 100% wrong on some of the stuff that he calls out the devs on. So shout out to him. Hopefully we can all come to a common ground as content creators and game players as a whole and move forward as one, I guess. Also want to go on the record and say the YouTube community, as they put it for the Discord chat, has never how do I phrase it, forcefully kicked anybody out. So I know that's a rumor that's been kind of going around. It's a welcome, open and engaging community. I got introduced to it through OAMP. I didn't know that there was one, so shout outs to OAMP as well. He's done a lot for the game, so I just want to give credit where credit is due. Going forward, for the last topic that we have for the podcast, what standards do you guys think Red Links or even us as content creators should have for the game, and what transparency level do you think should be put in place by either the devs or us as content creators for the game? James, you can start this one off.
So we're talking about transparency. I'm a bit worried I'm not talking right now.
No. We can hear you. I mostly wanted to highlight the transparency of rewards, because a lot of people have been upset about the fact that most recently the surprise reward for the top 3 clans for the team event, and now the surprise reward for content creators getting Robo Bebe. So that's the main facet of the transparency that I want to hit on.
They definitely do need to improve in transparency, but I can understand why in some cases they are not. Like for the costumes for the team event, they wanted to reward the teams that they knew were competitive and not just working towards a costume or something or a reward. No one really knew that was going to happen, and that's the surprise of it. Like, we're all going to get the costume eventually, said Buck. But that's one thing I can understand. But the things of just dropping level 5 Bebes on us and not telling anyone, that's going to rile up the community, because they're going to find out, like, if they're in a match with, like, Average Guy or something, or, just on
Reddit.
Reddit.
Find out because we told them. Like, we showed it to them. Hello, look it out.
Yeah.
Check it out.
We get the heat for it, while Red Links doesn't. they get the lighter edge of it. Like, they do need a break, definitely, but they kind of just dropped it all on us and said, okay, go ahead, deal with it.
But you see, that's the thing that I'm saying at the same time. It's like, hello, surprises are awesome. I like surprises. I was pleasantly surprised when I heard this morning that they were doing something directly like this for the content creators. I can see how other people would be upset because surprises are awesome. They did not get the surprise. They would not feel as happy. So I get the public outcry.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got a surprise in itself that you know that this card is coming. You get to see this card being showcased, even though at the end of the day, we are not the bad guys because we were just as surprised as everyone else. And it's not like Redlings just came out and be like, okay, we're Oprah. You get a Robo, baby. You get a Robo, baby. Everyone gets a... No, it doesn't work like that because, one, they couldn't give the card to everyone to, and I'm doing finger quotes here, play test, because one, that defeats the purpose of putting the card in the game, because that builds no hype for the game, for the card, if everyone just has a copy of the card. That's the first thing. Two, the game is a business. They need to make money. It's not the best business practice. A lot of people might be upset about the pay to win aspect and them randomly putting out cash deals for sci-fi parts or potential cash grabs for extra babies in packs, but that's how businesses run. I am like 80% sure Buck or Steve didn't make that judgment call. It was some dude in a suit sitting in a corner office somewhere that made that decision. There is a bottom line. There's a red line. The company needs to make a profit. These things happen, and there comes a time where you have to draw the line between being a consumer and being logical. It's not the best feeling, but you have to understand some of these things. And that's where content creators who either put all their YouTube money back into the game so that they can bring you said content, or people that, in our case, got a present from the company to showcase for a limited time only, so that you, the consumer, have a better idea of what it is that you're potentially going to be spending your money on. That's how the grand circle of life works.
Well, that's how marketing works, but sure.
Basically.
Yeah. I'm going to hop in here on this because I actually have a couple things that... Because I've been playing the game and I've noticed like quite a few things that I find a little bit disturbing. And again, coming from games like, say, Hearthstone or any other card game that actually has matchmaking as well as ranks and things of that nature, there's a couple things that have become pretty obvious. Now, since this game actually has like cards that you can upgrade, you're going to have this inherent problem of people deranking. Basically just to farm in the lower ranks to keep building up their collectibles and or materials and cards and things of that nature. What this then ends up doing, though, is it creates kind of a wonky Ponzi scheme where the people who've been there longest and have gotten their cards built up to rank 4s, rank 5, or level 5s and all that are playing sub 30 or sub 35, as the case may be, are literally just feasting on like all the new players who are coming to the game. Well, sad reality about the economics of a mobile game like this, most of the money that they're going to make is normally within the first 30 days of a person playing that game. Afterwards, most people lose interest in a mobile game and they move on. So when you've got these people who are literally lingering around in these lower ranks, what you end up getting is a disenfranchise of newer players who don't really want to stay around. They don't really want to commit or maybe spend money and try to grind up and get to the legendary ranks. There's absolutely no point in that. And there has to be a way of solving this. I came up with one idea that I think might do it, but the whole math behind it is definitely going to be worked on, and that's basically deck power scores. Whatever your deck is would have a certain power score depending on how much of an upgrade each individual card had, what type of card it is, etc., etc. It would create a power level. Now, what that would in turn is the rewards you get from getting a win would be reduced if you were above a certain power level for this specific block area. All right, that way it disincentivizes people from basically farming newer players. All right, you want to get those rewards that you were getting before? Well, go play at the level you're supposed to be playing at. Well, I'm just really bad at the game. Well, sucks to be you.
So essentially,
right.
then what you're saying is like, currently, if you are playing and you get, well, I'm using this as a random example. If you're playing and you get 3 locker rewards, but you're playing at rank 35 and your deck power level is full of like level 5 cards, so let's call your deck power level 5, so to speak, then
well, actually, it would be something closer to like 15,000, but all right.
Well, yeah. So then if you're playing at rank 35, which I guess for a number, you could consider the average deck for a rank 35 would be level 4, so you should have a power level of 4 for your deck. If you have a power level of 5, then maybe you only get to unlock 1 locker at rank 35 then, or something along those lines?
Something along those lines, yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, if you're just like, you know, it has to be within degrees. Like, you know, if you're like, that's why I said much bigger number, because it's a lot easier to figure it out with that instead of like arbitrary single digits. But like if this block zone is for like, you know, up to 12,000, and you're coming in here and you're rocking at 40,000, well, obviously you're probably only going to get 1 reward. But let's say it's a 10,000, you're sitting there at 12. Well, you're going to get 2 rewards versus the 3, right? Now you can still pay your own cash, you know, like you get in the game to open up more lockers, but you're not going to get that guaranteed reward. You know, that's something that I think would help balance that out a bit. Another option is create more steps to where people can't.
That's been a long-standing suggestion that people have been having.
Right, because there's only so many lock points in the game, to where once you reach this, you can't backslide beyond that. Sure. And like anybody who's got,
should be a block.
Yeah, 45 should be a block. 30 should be a block.
They could have just done it in 10s, to be quite frank.
They really could have. They could have done it in 5s like Hearthstone has done. But yeah, again, trying to compare an apple to an orange is not always the best analogy. The other thing,
Irish in the chat here, sorry to cut you off. He just pointed out he's got his Smurf account the other day. He faced a level 18 new kid at 35 Silver Shield.
Yeah.
Shit! Wow, that is some serious D ranking, bro.
I mean, I hit a 15 earlier today, and I was like, what the hell is this? I'm barely 11. And I was like crying. It was so bad.
That's improved matchmaking for you.
Now, another thing I'd like to see, and this is a quality of life adjustment, and I know for a fact it'll probably never happen, but I guarantee everybody wants to see this. And there's actually space for it under the, you know, free pack card thing with Cartman there. I'd like to see the ability of trading off materials from different factions to another faction. Now, it wouldn't be a one-to-one trade, obviously. So if you got like a bronze for, say, fantasy, and you want to trade those for, say, a bronze in adventure, well, you trade 2 of your fantasies for 1 adventure and vice versa. And obviously you get to silver, well, because silver is a lot more valuable. As we all know, all the silver mats are like the most sought-after things in this damn game. That would have to go to 3-to-1, and obviously the golds would be like 4-to-1. Something of that nature, some sort of market attrition like that, I think would also be good. Also, more events where you just give out silver mats. Screw everything else. I don't give a damn about the bronze. I don't give a damn about it. Give me silver, damn it. I've got so many 3s about ready to go to 4, but I'm missing silver mats and driving me up the wall.
Everybody's always starved for silver mats, man. That's the main thing that people grind for during events, man. It's silver mats.
I've wasted so much of my cash money in game just trying to get that 1 4-pack of freaking power serum. It's, oh, God.
And that's another downside too. It's like neutral mats are super hard to come by because, well, there's no neutral side of the PvE adventure. Like, you have a limited adventure mode for adventure class. You have a limited adventure mode for sci-fi class. And then you have no PvE aspect for neutral stuff. So it's just really Mystic and Fantasy that get the brunt of the PvE experience as far as grinding or farming materials from the single player part of things.
Yeah, come on, let's make the neutral side like the Goth Kid area. Let's do that. Come on. That makes sense. Sort of.
Yeah.
James, if you're talking, we can't hear you. I just want to point that out. No, we can't hear you, James.
Can't hear you.
We see you moving your lips, but we can't actually hear you.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Oh my god, one of these times we're going to say, nope, still can't hear you.
I'm so sorry. This is the last time I charged my phone while on a podcast.
It's cool. We should be about wrapping up now. So everybody want to give their final thoughts. We'll start off with James just so he can get his out first.
Well, honestly, I have to say that getting Robo Bebe this morning, I was like a 16-year-old teenage girl getting a pink little automobile from her daddy. Could be a boyfriend, could be a dad. Daddy doesn't mean anything anymore.
Sugar
But,
daddy, who knows?
So we're wrapping up, right? So I just say my stuff?
Yeah, go for it, man. Shout out who you want to shout out. Plug what you want to plug. Final
I'd like
address,
to shout out
whatever.
my mom, who's probably watching this right now.
Hey.
Sorry for being an embarrassment, Mom. And I'd like to shout out my girlfriend. She's not here. And I would like to say I'm Free Waterfall III on Legendary Matchmaking. Kick my butt. I'm probably going to be easy to beat. On Reddit, I'm WebsterAnswer66. On Discord, I'm Natsuki is Best Suki. And that's really it. I hope to see you sometime. At me and call me a jerk.
All right, average guy, you want to take it away?
Yeah, man. You know, I'm Average Guy 777. I'm still very excited about us getting access to this card, to be able to showcase it. We don't know if we're going to keep it. A lot of people don't think that we should be able to keep those. I personally want to keep it, but I'm not going to be hurt if they take that back. Honestly, I think it's being a little blown out of proportion. The whole point is just to check out this new card and how awesome it is. And she's pretty damn awesome. As a counter for rats, pigeons, gnomes, if she kills 1 or 2 rats, man, she goes off. Robo Bebe, I think, is getting lost in all this mess. She's pretty fucking sweet. And she's a great counter, or she's a great replacement for a Nelly or a Terrence or something like that. So hopefully she becomes more accessible. It really fucking sucks that they didn't load up this event with her, especially considering she's a common. It's very disappointing. But again, don't be mad at any YouTuber or streamer you see rocking the Bebe, man. They're doing that for y'all. Yes, it is a benefit for us. We of course love it, but that's why we do this stuff. Is for you guys. If you aren't out there watching, then we don't really have a reason to continue to do it. So don't think that we think we're better than you or we deserve something more than you. That's definitely not the case. I just think we do deserve to have something to show you and to help keep you guys interested and keep you excited. And that was the whole point of this whole thing. So please don't lose that and all that animosity that you see washing around right now.
All right, and Shiv, any closing thoughts, shout-outs?
Yeah, I like the game. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully they will continue moving forward with what they're doing. I mean, it can only get better. And say hi to the king.
Hey, Kitty's real. Alright, so that basically takes care of everything from everyone. Final shoutouts to Redlink, shout out to Steve enjoying his vacation, shout out to It's Buck, holding down the fort while Steve is away playing and enjoying himself. Shoutouts to the South Park Phone Store community, both on Reddit and on the Discord. Shoutouts to the devs, even though we're at arms with them at times. Shoutouts to them all the same. And shoutouts to my clan, Hella Team Style. Those guys are awesome. And this is your friendly...
We're part of the South Park Coalition.
Damn
Woo-hoo.
right, damn right. And...
See, I'm part of, Fuck Fingers.
That name's gonna get reported, bro.
I know, right? But here's the thing.
Finger,
Fuck
bang,
and
bang.
Fingers all have asterisks in them, so...
Alright, well, that's not that bad. But yeah, this is your friendly neighborhood gamer, Zago Cometh, aka the Ghost Who Walks, signing off, telling you as